Alright.
I've like played this before, but a long time ago, and I am curious if like the parts that I remember really vividly are like in fact the like parts that are going to be a big deal like playing it through this time. Because like there are some parts that I talk about all the time, but I'm trying to remember like how accurate that is, what the actual game's like.
Wait, I'm a little confused.
Because like I like actually played this like 5 years ago, and then I haven't actually touched it since. But I like constantly am like talking about this thing like in reference to other things. Or just,
oh really?
Like, how CMS feels about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Because also for a long time it was kind of like back 5 years ago. You gotta imagine like tiny little like pre-knowing about everything metaleptic Mahitable, and so I was just like, wow, the Stanley Parable is like the first metaleptic thing that I ever really, not really, but it was like one of the first like, you know, like ridiculously metaleptic things that I'd ever come across. It was like, this is genius. And
so you think this might be like your anime period where it's like sort of embarrassing to look back on?
I mean, I totally have an embarrassing metalepsis period.
That's not what you are right now.
Wow, rude. True, but like rude.
So I mean, I guess for viewers back home, metalepsis is this concept where you go from one narrative level to another, and it sort of breaks it. So it's kind of like you're like reading a story and a narrator is talking about it, but then suddenly the character in the story comes out and kills the narrator. You know, that's what metalepsis means. So I mean, like we already see this in like the Stanley Parable of like we have this freaking like Drosta effect of like, you know, here's my cursor and it's on the cursor in there. But I guess for me, I also don't know too much about this game. Well, I haven't played this game before. All I know about this is that it's a snarky narrator, and that's about it. I guess like there's a scene where you glitch, and then the narrator's like, "Aha! You thought you were out of the game, but you're still here." So okay, I think stuff is pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the video quality, but then people will yell at me for asking our chat up.
Okay. Ugh. Yeah. I mean, like, I think as play goes on, you will see, like, why this is such good material for, like, you know, like, middle schoolers and high schoolers with, like, you know, like, XD is so meta feels.
Yikes. Alright, so
not to, like, hate on this game. I love this game a lot. But
the end is never to end. Oh yeah, I remember this part. That's the other thing I know about Stanley Parable is this refrain, yeah.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on the desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day, every month, of every year.
I do appreciate there is this like asymmetry between the tech that Stanley is using and the tech that you're using, even though it is supposed to be like you're both on a computer, and that probably only becomes more so as the game gets older.
Well, I mean, I guess like
and
just
one day something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley.
Oh, Rip Stanley.
Something he would never quite forget.
That is kind of the theme of this game,
He was
yes.
at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very...
We didn't want to render other people models.
Shocked.
Wow, real?
Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses...
Oh,
he
that looks like a person
and
control.
slipped out of his office.
Yeah.
So I turned on achievements, which immediately gave me an achievement, which I was amused by. But,
I do appreciate the little like jump cut kind of feel and the switching over control there.
I mean, like, that's like a typical game thing. But like, yeah, just from the description of this, it felt like Job Simulator of like press buttons. I'm like concerned I don't have feet. You know, like looking at this
It's funny
camera,
you should say that.
like looking at this camera angle, this means that I'm like a ball floating. Especially, it doesn't allow me to like go all the way around. You know, I'm definitely a ball floating in the air.
Yeah. But how can you be a ball plug there? We just saw a picture of Stanley. He's got limbs.
Oh, there you go. Oh, jeez, I move really fast.
Also, you're such an IF player. Does that first X self? I was like,
oh. Alright. Can I jump? No. Alright. I can't interact with anything either? I'm trying to click on things. I don't know, I have no information about controls. It's kind of weird, every time I click there's like a keyboard sound-ish kind of going on.
Totally forgot that. I don't like that.
Alright, let's go.
Fun facts about doors from the creator of the Stanley Parables.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Hey, my door closed!
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I'm not going to a freaking meeting room. I want to interact with things. Like, what? Oh, I can. Oh, that's, suddenly on top of things.
Mm-hmm.
How fast I'm moving is really weird to me. Like, the controls are, like, really floaty. Like, I'm also watching.
First played this, I had, like, no intuitions about what normal controls were, so none of this stuff seemed weird to me, but.
I'm moving really fast. I'm also annoyed I can't
go fast.
interact with anything or like read. Like I can't see what that cup says, but whatever. Okay, I'm gonna get railroaded into some meeting room apparently. I do like this like papers thrown everywhere. Oh yes, your typical. I'm in an office.
I guess.
Consider what we were talking about last time for antechamber, and this time you like can't escape the frame. You can't zoom in close enough to ignore the fact that it's just a painting. It's true. God, these freaking drop ceilings. All right, well. Yeah, like people are leaving in a hurry with all just these papers everywhere. Oh, it's everyone's gone to the Rapture, the game. Probably.
I really enjoy that interpretation.
That like everyone's raptured.
Yeah, that's why it's called the Stanley Parable. It's like it's like
I'm not gonna lie, if I didn't know this was like.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, screw you.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I do like me. See, if I didn't know this was like a funny meta game, I'd actually be like kind of creeped out right now, right? Like you could like.
Well, like I feel like it's debatably a funny meta game. Like, I feel like it's supposed to like kind of creep you out a bit.
Okay.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room.
Give me soda.
Stanley simply stood here.
Soda Lord.
Give me soda. Give me soda.
He was just drinking in the room. He didn't be drinking soda.
This is a nice lounge.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
On the table. Look on the table. Look on.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
But like, there's still like, there's coffee on the floor too,
Yeah, this is actually kind of interesting. So, like the stuff we were talking about with Antechamber.
For more dialogue. But when a
God.
long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
How rude. Yeah, with the thing we were talking
but
about.
Antechamber about how like, giving players goals or like.
The amazing room and took the first open door on his left.
No, rude. Sorry, about what?
About like how there was mechanical railroading, but also giving people plots as a kind of railroading, like and how the narrator voice very explicitly is like, but there's this mystery of the missing co-workers, and like, why are you not solving that? Which is, I think, kind of pointing out in a way that like we're talking about Antechamber didn't really do that sort of thing of giving you a like here's.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, like, part of it is, like, this game design element of, like, oh, we're trying to do, like, this linear thing, you know, of, like, encouraging you to follow the plot, but, like, yeah. Huh.
It's just funny because I think, like, a lot of time, like, Stanley Parable is a game about free will. But, like, maybe Stanley Parable is, like, a game about railroading. Like, which is also, I guess, about free will.
Which is also
like,
about free will, yeah.
You know, like, but, like, I think there's the interpretation of Stanley Parable doesn't have to be about, like, human life. Like, it can also just be about, like, video game design. Man.
I'm gonna jump.
Okay.
Ah!
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Is that Rip Stanley is the theme of this game?
Phenomenology bot says update Teruzuji Lounge.
Oh my god!
I haven't written phenomenology bot, so someone made the count. You think you're very clever. It me, it you. Alright.
Okay, I already made a world builder account from phenomenology bot.
Oh, it's a
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
it's a repeat. I'm gonna do the same pathway.
Okay.
I mean, like, also, like, the hallway and stuff like that.
When Stanley came to
Oh, what about
assist
it?
to open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley...
I mean, it's just like a very,
Perhaps he wanted
it's
to
literally
stop
a
by the
linear
employee
hallway.
lounge first,
Yeah.
just to admire it.
like, they,
Yeah, right, like, and like, the sort of like the
Wow.
two, like,
Yes.
the two
This
doors
room.
choice is like, in
But
some ways,
to
like,
get back to business, Stanley took the
like the
first
most
open door on his left.
obvious kind of like, here is a choice, TM. Like, look,
Yeah.
it's a spatial choice, it's a choice
Stanley was
choice.
so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
so it's interesting that they, like, force you, like, once you pass a door, you can't pass it back.
Yeah.
What's this? God. Nothing but trolls on the chat today. God.
Oh my god.
Oh, so is there really isn't anything to do except jump. What if I... But yeah, I think it's interesting where, like, you know, like, Antechamber is almost, like, dizzying in its amount of freedom that it gives you. To the point where, like, people are like, you haven't seen the main mechanic, or, like, you haven't, like, you're going through the puzzles backwards and stuff.
Right. And it's like, it's kind of funny because, like, without the narrator being a little bit creepy or even existing, like, if you were given the Stanley Parable, you probably would kind of, like, explore this in approximately, like, trying to figure out why your coworkers are missing way, because that, like, is an obvious plot point you'd want to investigate.
I mean, like, yeah, it could be done like everyone's gone to the raptor.
Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
It's, like, pretty fair.
There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. Stanley, your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
This good voice is top notch. Honestly.
I just feel like uncomfortably like freaking like Portal here with like this industrial warehouse setting and just like she and like Carolyn and whatever.
And I feel like that's probably an influence, right? Like, because like,
God, I hate these doors, man.
like I feel like in many ways this is the kind of like at least remember like back when like Portal was a big thing, the Stanley Parable was also a big thing among the kind of people who liked Portal.
Stanley Parable came out later than Portal though.
Yeah.
What is this? Fragile. I think it's interesting that they like even bothered to like the thing on the doors also was like the fence. What the?
That's so, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Should I pick up the phone? Do it. Well, I also wait. I can't. Alright. And click. Okay.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the thread out of the oven. All right.
Can't move.
Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about
You're doing.
Oh my god.
Gotcha.
Oh my god.
Come on. Did you actually think you had a lovely
Um.
life? Did we commit their life to you?
Um.
I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
No! Hell no! Oh my god!
Story now.
I feel like that. Oh my god! No! No! Hell no!
I'm so happy I'm getting to see you play this for the first time.
What is this, like, freaking paint?
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Hey, I already died once. Whatever. Press 6? No. Okay.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he
Is this a
pushes
chair?
is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
What's I doing that?
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
Oh my god.
He's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now
Oh my
he's
god.
going back to work. One
Yeah,
can
it's-
feel sorry for him. Except
This
that
is-
his life.
How does this match up with your expectations of what people said the Stanley Parable is like?
Basically.
In his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures.
Oh my god.
From behind his desk, Stanley
Wow,
dreamed
what would it
of
be like if you
wondrous
made a
things
game
that
about,
he
like daydreaming and going on fantastic adventures in your mind?
wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Where's the TV? Wife is cute. 0.
And so he began to fantasize about his own
Wait, the
job.
TV disappeared.
First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped
'Cause
out
the TV
from
was
his
here.
desk to
Yeah.
realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Spend time with the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
That lampshading of your obviously a choice
As he
choice
wandered
still.
through this
Huh.
fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations.
Oh, I guess the
Down
desk was
one
here
path
too.
lay an enormous
Yeah.
round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
That dang might have left
It
us
was
still.
such a wonderful fantasy. And so in his head, he relived it again. And then again. And again. Over and over.
I mean, that's pretty accurate considering like we're trying to play through
Right.
more
Who
endings,
would
right?
feel this free? Surely there's an answer down some new path. Mustn't there be? Perhaps if he
Yeah, this is pretty clearly like, you know, what goodbye wife. I'm pressing 0. Oh.
But there is no
Oh, it
answer.
was O.
How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has
I mean,
changed.
considering it's
The longer
WASD.
he spends here, the
Yeah.
more invested he gets.
I-
The more he forgets.
One thing that I think
which
is
is
cool
real
about the
life.
Stanley Parable is the way that depending on what paths you
And
go
I'm trying
down,
to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself.
Yikes.
But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, The next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Oh, Z.
You see?
Wow.
Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
In a mirror.
Well, you can't because you don't have feet.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time.
This guy's voice is a
And
lot.
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
What am I playing?
Yeah! Welcome to the Stanley Parable, though. That misalignment with, like, the captions and the voice is kind of interesting there.
Stanley decided to go to the
Oh, that
meeting.
just, like, ends?
Perhaps he had sent
Yeah.
us a memo.
But that, like, there's actually, like, usually the captions are, like, you know, like, the same as the voice, like, that, you know, like,
Stanley
there's
came
text,
to a set
and
of
then,
two open. This was not the
like,
correct
just to make
way
it, like,
meet
kinda, like,
him. And Stanley
so
knew
that you
perfectly
could
well.
read it with the sound off or something. But in that case, he actually, like, doesn't finish speaking the thing that you know that the caption
The
says.
lines
Right.
are sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley
That comes so
took the
deeply and so
door on
personally
his
to
left.
Alright, let's see what happens if we don't click the phone. If we have to go through all that dialogue though
Stanley
again.
following directions. It's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Yeah. No, I think I do think it's really interesting about the Stanley Parable is that, like, it, like, definitely is always, like, to some degree, like, ooh, there's some sort of metaphor about you're playing a video game and Stanley's life is kind of like being a video game character. But, like, the kind of aspect of your experience of playing a video game that are the same as what's happening with Stanley, I think actually do kind of change between endings in a cool way.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
sometimes you're like, you know, like, you playing the video game is like Stanley imagining a fantasy thing. Like, sometimes you playing a video game is like literally Stanley's life. Like, you know, like, sometimes, like,
Your chance to redeem yourself.
Sorry,
well, I guess, like, I'm trying to, like, not think about it, is that, like, talking about, like,
your life.
endings we haven't run through yet, but...
Okay. I mean, like, I guess I've not been super impressed with, like, how it's doing it. Because it's just, like,
That's so, Stanley.
whatchamacallit.
You need to be the one to do this.
Oh, this is very
to
tolerant.
reach out to her.
Yeah, damn.
It was just very much, like, so far, like, oh, look, connections, like, you can see it. And it's, like, not saying anything, like, a lot more telling than showing right now.
Yeah, and I think it's, like, it's a little bit, like... Stanley Parable is definitely not, like, a subtle kind of game, like, and I feel like it, you know, like, accelerates from, like, 0 to 100% metaleptic weird shit very quickly.
That's fair. But, like, I've just been, like, not super impressed, I guess, right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so, like, you actually just can't not pick up the phone?
I don't know, we could just keep waiting. We got more CMS feels, we got time.
I mean, like, because I can always just, like, do this. So, like, you know.
Yeah. So I'm trying to...
I'm surprised I didn't get a smarmy message from that.
Yeah, I actually don't remember if there are any instances in the Stanley Parable where, like, the metalepsis actually goes, like, properly metaleptic to your, to, like, the...
To, like, the
pause
menu outside.
Like, yeah.
I mean, I thought it was going to lead up to that because it does ask, that door didn't close. That's interesting. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that, because at the beginning it does say, like, begin the game very explicitly.
He entered
You
the
know.
room. This was not the correct way to the meeting room. Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Just
Okay.
admire it.
And, like, it is true that there's, like, you know, like the menu with like the like nested computer situation thing. Like there's some suggestion that like, I mean, not like antechamber levels of like put in the menu like in the actual game, but like it is some kind of suggestion of like these are at least like aesthetically similar. Like
just a kind of tingle. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the.
But like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like, oh, I'm like doing my like branch exploration of like depth first, you know?
Yeah.
So he detoured through the maintenance
I'm like,
section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
I feel like that's like
back on track.
pretty much how you do, because like I feel fundamentally the Stanley Parable is basically like a visual novel. Like I guess it's a visual novel with like a little more player choice in the sense that like you're like choosing like where to move at a particular moment as opposed to like, you know, like you're just choosing dialogue options or something.
Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go from here it's left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
Gross.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see, we went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
I'm gonna get run over by a truck, aren't I? God, I don't need this. I don't need this in my life.
It's spooky.
I don't need spooky in this. Whoa!
Ooh.
No, this isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just back to,
Fired?
Who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
This is like slightly metaleptic to like the level and stuff, but like it's for instance like that choice doesn't make you have to make the choice of resuming from the beginning.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like the whole genre of like making something that's basically a visual novel in like a kind of like more
Wait.
First person.
Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over. Completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monsters? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
I was ready to do my whole like entire branching path thing, but
Well, I'm sorry that the Stanley Parable has a way of ruining all of your plans for interacting with it in any particular way. It's supposed to make you feel that, you know, like, that you, even though you were annoyed by the constraints of the branching path strategy, that at least, you know, it gave you some structure to investigating this game.
I've ever been on. I can promise you, there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again.
The pictures are
It's got to
changing
be
now.
better than this.
Where's this place been before?
Why not?
oh, it just restarts me? I don't even get a choice?
I don't even get a choice, the Stanley Parable TM.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, it's worse. You're remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
It's gonna be different when we go back now.
I think one thing that I can't decide if is actually interesting or is weird content in this metalepsis about the Stanley Parable is the whole kind of instances that there is a story that exists, despite the fact that there isn't actually the Stanley Parable doesn't really have that much of a story. If you straight up do try to find a story, there's just not actually much there. And on the one hand, I feel like this is a kind of maybe.
I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
It's maybe a kind of interesting point about could you make a video game with no story, or the story doesn't actually exist, it's just all this parable about free will and shit. But on the other hand, I actually feel in a lot of cases, metalepsis works very well in the service of an actual story.
Okay, let's head back the other way and read.
I mean, that's just going back to the whole narratology ludology debate, right? Because it's the same thing about does Tetris have a story, right?
Yeah.
But,
I guess what I'm saying is I feel the part of why the Stanley Parable was a thing I liked in my embarrassing high school metalepsis phase or something was that I was back in the day when you're just it's clever because it's metaleptic and I don't need to care about the characters or have a reason that this world is interesting apart from just there's metalepsis.
Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no.
I mean, if we're talking about narratology ludology,
Yeah,
it's
for
we
real.
lost the story and then
But we're we can have to mechanics and winning and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
The Stanley Parable adventure line.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
It doesn't say TM.
Aren't they supposed to go this way? I wanted to put up walls around the line and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. No, it's still.
No, I'm down. We're living up to the line from now on.
I mean, now I'm trying to imagine what Tetris. Oh, he's playing solitaire or something. What Tetris was weird metaleptic crap is gonna be, right? This one is. It's very contingent on your assumption that this game is has to have a narrative.
The story is. It's
right
in this direction.
Yeah.
Onward, Stanley.
And the metalepsis actually should, I think, be kind of fun. Just have a situation where the blocks can just fall into the sidebar or
Or put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story?
Yeah.
Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself?
This isn't.
I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me.
This isn't a very interesting statement. This is life is a journey.
Subjective experience.
This is literally just life is a journey.
Yeah. But
Now, if my
to be fair, I'm not sure the fine manufacturers of the Stanley Parable necessarily think this is super deep. I feel the first here is the narrator says some deep stuff.
Experiential mental subjective construct. Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
I do kind of appreciate the diegesis situation here, where you know, like the narrator is like not just like kind of like the voiceover voice, but actually does like basically controls all of the kind of non-diegetic elements of the game, like music and like the like you win caption.
Yeah. Phenomenology Bot says the question is probably that we were probably wanting to answer is what counts as a narrative,
Oh no.
which is pretty true. Okay, I gone backwards in the line because I went one way.
Yeah. No, but it is true that I think like the game can get away with some of its like contentless meta-ness because of the assumption that
this game should have a narrative.
yeah. And that's just that is just entirely done through genre things.
Yeah. Because like you would be more surprised if some block following or like a match 3 game had plot, you know?
Right. It's also interesting that there's like that block there is like that sometimes the amazing. You know that sometimes blocks are done as like the weird like black wall, which is very clearly like you know, like almost a mechanical construct, but like they are actually done as some boxes that like have like meaning within the diegesis.
I mean, like most games doing invisible walls do it like that, right? Like, well, see, that's why the concept of like invisible walls are kind of derided because it's like, you know, oh, you couldn't come up with like some dumb reason to make this not be the case, you know? I like how jaunty.
I really appreciate the jaunt. Getting real Temple of No vibes.
Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story.
Thanks, man.
Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to wait.
Yes.
We're back at the office? No. Line. You do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Now we have liturgical elements, like...
Yeah. I was like, the idea of, like, looking for a story is, like, a thing that's located somewhere in physical space is kind of interesting with, like, the fact that, like, the way that you do branching paths in this game is, like, to go to different places.
Yeah.
Because all the choices, like, you basically have no ability to interact with things that isn't walking, and so all of your choices are about where you walk.
Well, I mean, like, and even the clicking action is having, like, a keyboard type and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Well, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Well, I mean, now we're getting the linearity of, like, these forced restarts. You know what I mean?
Right. Is it like compared to anything with, like, running through Carlos, like...
I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Right, and we're still being railroaded, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was gonna say, like, this is an impressively long, like, non-branching, like, path to get on compared to, like, any of the other things we run into.
A new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild.
Oh, wait, so do you remember encountering this?
I don't think I ever ran into this when I played this before.
Wait, what? I mean, I guess it's also interesting because it seemed to be the product of, like, a lot of bucking the narrative.
Yeah, I think that when I played it, actually did my branching from the kind of opposite direction, where I did the, like,
not you again.
most following the instructions to least following the instructions, whereas I think this time we kind of went through this in a, like...
No lines or monitor rooms.
Oh, you went from, like, rule-abiding to non-rule-abiding.
Because I kind of figured, like... And I think in some ways, actually, some of the narrative of the game kind of, like, works better like that, because in general, kind of, like, the less rule-abiding you are, the more you run into metaleptic weird shit, TM. And it's glorious.
That's really scary, actually. But anyways, yeah.
And actually, it's kind of interesting with the scattered papers and stuff, though, right? That I feel like this is the path the adventure line is the same kind of sort of violent motion as there being paper scattered around and stuff, and the ceiling being broken here.
I guess it's
sort of suggesting that it is related to the story of the coworkers disappearing, even though that's not actually a story you get a lot of clues into.
But then you also think of here's a ludological element of here's this. Oh, the line is where the story is. And then the search for a story itself is causing violence to the environment, And then you're trying to find the story by opening these doors and stuff like that, but really you're unleashing more instances of violence.
Also, Phenomenology Bro wants to do a sick parkour wall jump.
Yeah, well, I'll keep clicking on my keyboard.
I think I know who Phenomenology Bot is, and this is not even a secret now. Those dank spider web references.
We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay. So I know that each door has to lead.
I think it's also actually interesting because the adventure, in terms of the kind of the narrator being most of the non-diegetic stuff, and the Stanley Parable adventure line when it's first shown, could be non-diegetic or could be diegetic, and these red lines are probably non-diegetic but unclear. But when it goes through the ceiling and it's the line going through the ceiling breaks the ceiling, that pretty clearly puts it as a diegetic object.
Yes. Then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley. Our destiny awaits.
This is on a... Oh. Confusion ending.
Amazing. That's everything.
Oh, hold up. What's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again.
This is pretty good.
Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing. Wall.
Yeah, this is also antechamber things.
Oh yeah.
How do I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the
narrator's desires as well.
I don't want to forget what's
going on. I think that's actually one of the reasons I think the Stanley Parable almost works better as a narrative when you do it from kind of most rule abiding to least rule abiding. Is that I think the kind of arc of the game then.
Does that mean did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay.
Wait, so you think it's...
But so, I think in that one, it, very early kind of sets it up as, in general, you're, you, Stanley, don't have a lot of free will in the story, and the narrator has a lot of power, and it's all about, the narrator bossing you around and telling you what to do, and that's the kind of dynamic of it. And only, when you start going into the, metaleptic weird shit endings, do you end up in scenarios where it's clear that, also, there are narrators or pawn narrators, and, that the narrator also doesn't have a ton of free will and the thing is equivalent to another player, and that there are other powers that be that are making choices about the story that aren't them.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I think it's interesting that for the confusion ending, they also don't tell you how to get to the 6th restart.
Right.
Or actually, let's try. Let's try that right now. Yeah. Because they said the 5th one, the narrator doesn't remember it, and then the 6th restart.
Yeah.
All of its co-workers.
Okay, no.
Okay.
So they're not. I guess the timer did stop.
Yeah. I wonder what happened if you actually restarted it before then.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that again for 15 minutes, but I don't think that's actually what I need in my life. And also, just so confused by that one being the confusion ending.
The door. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
And okay, so now
Perhaps he wanted
So now we're back to
just
freaking
to admire it.
branch path.
Yeah.
Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach.
I really like
Maybe in a
these.
way he had never, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so
I think that is interesting about, like, you do get on that track by just, like, you know, doing the complete opposite.
Right.
And, like, for a while, because if you notice, it wasn't just, like, one thing that triggered, it was, like,
Yeah.
multiple things, so.
And, like, I think it's, like, what is cool about it is that, like, you know, the situation where, like, if you push the narrator enough, that's when you kind of start realizing, like, oh, the narrator doesn't actually have as much power as I thought he did either.
Yeah.
Like, there is actually a sense in which, like, you not listening to what the narrator says does kind of mean that, like, in relation to him, you end up with more free will. It just kind of means in general you don't, like...
Yeah.
Because there's always some sort of other structure the game puts there.
I also appreciate that I can stand on this little liminal threshold space without triggering, like, dialogue and stuff like that.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find
Cabal
an answer
planning.
there.
It's cabal planning.
Projectors changed.
Yeah, it used to say tips on not getting fired. I remember exactly this stuff. Or meta BS.
Yeah, that's you should inhabit a world where everyone's about meta BS.
We need more or less reviews. I want to get rid of the death sport portion, but I think that's a stupid idea. Water cooler heaters. Find teenagers to put in teenage demographic. Big net. Work harder, hard worker. Teenagers. It's pretty good. And right now you're both of them. It's like life.
Same though. Appreciate profits.
I do feel this game is like very heavily inspired by Portal because of like
Yeah.
these like, you know, scribbles that you see.
Yeah, and I feel like it's got the same sort of like, I mean, like Portal's definitely kind of like research office culture, the chipper but dark side parody, and like this is like office culture, the chipper but dark parody.
Yeah. Monetize free to play. Everyone is geek. Well, I mean, I think it's also interesting for an office environment because it's like, you know, it's inherently weird that there's nobody there. If you were exploring like a house or something, you know, like it's somehow more natural, or like Dear Esther, where you're kind of like walking along these like cliffs and stuff, you know.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like we were talking a little bit about this with Antechamber, right? About like also like the sorts of environments that are like easy to like create as video game spaces because they're these very kind of like impersonal, like have a very specific set of details that they have in them kind of spaces, like, you know, like that offices, like office rooms or like lab spaces are designed to all look kind of the same, and so like if you want to like just 3D model it, like, you know, you just like make some filing cabinets and make some white walls and like nailed it.
Oh yeah, and then yeah, they just sort of repeated the like filing cabinet asset like everywhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, same thing was Antechamber of like white box is both a gallery and a laboratory.
Right.
I thought was interesting. Yeah. Anyways.
But that's actually somewhat relevant to another ending that I know is in the Stanley Parable that I don't remember how to get to.
I see. I think that's one of the first doors I've been able to open. I also haven't really been...
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Like, I haven't really been clicking as much, but...
I mean, like, I guess that's another sort of, like,
There was nothing
question about, like,
no choice to make.
the game initially does not give you a lot of options to click on things, like...
No reason to still be here.
And it's completely unobvious what to click on. You know?
Yeah. But so, like, I like that that's another kind of way, like, game sort of like limits your free will or ability to make choices because
doing anything.
you don't go and test out what options you have because you assume like nothing's gonna work.
Yep.
As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why?
Gotta extract all that sweet dialogue.
I do appreciate how one thing that happens is when you go more off track, the narrator starts asking you more questions that you just can't answer.
If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it.
Oh, that's true. I just clicked it.
Because literally, this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Like they did it. I just clicked the broom.
Though it's interesting because like it's like even though there is no like narrator giving you reverse psychology reason check it out tell you it's an option, like there is like something mechanically that tells you it's an option because it's something that you click on.
Did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favourite. I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Okay, there it is. Favorite piece of dialogue in the Stanley Parable. That's the one.
About what's going on right now. You're dead.
I'm not dead.
You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard.
It's interesting because it's ambiguous if it's the you.
Yeah. I definitely think that's one of the reasons why, like, when the narrator switches from Stanley from Stanley and third person pronouns to you, like there are a couple places in the Parable where I actually find that really menacing. Like even think of that as kind of like my like archetypical example of menacing metalepsis.
Yeah. Wait, sorry, I
Their corpse from the area.
the menacing.
Like they're definitely like I think that like there was a particular kind of like menacing metalepsis vibe that I often like very strongly associate with moments in the Stanley Parable where the narrator starts addressing you as you.
I see.
Video gaming.
And like I think I never really pieced together that's because the you is ambiguous whether he's talking to Stanley or like actually talking past Stanley to the player.
Just step out into the hallway.
Ah yes.
The broom closet is important. My favorite piece of dialogue. Also, Cesium is referencing that when I was playing The Witness, I like recognized that this area was a glass lab, and I freaked out. And I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like, because The Witness has no dialogue whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I figured it out, and I was very excited.
That's amazing.
I
I am happy for you.
think we've milked out all the dialogue from
Yeah, I think so also. Resume.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you too. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the to. Fish, fungus.
I'm so glad.
I can be a fun guest if you want to.
Alright, do another one. Do another one. Woo! Liminal spaces. Okay.
Oh, wait, can we still open that?
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
It's a completely inconsequential broom closet to the hashtag story.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yeah, because, like, you know.
Yeah. I also appreciate that one of the things in the meeting room is, like, get so-and-so out of the broom closet.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
That's good. Oh, I'm a hacker. Look, I'm going hacking. Go up the...
Are you making fun of Yura making fun of you?
Yeah.
Amazing.
I've been here before.
Also,
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
I don't think
He
so.
considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply
It's called the game designers just using the same assets.
This is all too strange.
All the game designer being too lazy to make feet.
At last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it.
I like the music. The music, the
This
creepy.
is all a dream.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is having feet like
To have finally
more
found an
conventional
answer.
in games? Because I think when I actually played the Stanley Parable the first time, I didn't find it weird that you didn't have feet because I didn't play a lot of like first-person kind of games, and so I assumed that that was just a like pointing out that you were in a video game in a very like obvious way that all video games would have. But is this actually like weird?
It's actually, so the weird thing is that see where my position is?
Yeah.
Wait, hold up. Well, I guess I'll show you this on
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared.
that's
It
cool.
was so much fun. And Stanley
Oh wait, I'm still walking.
He had still not woken up.
Yeah. Well, I guess it works because you're so floaty when you walk anyway.
And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my
Thanks,
head
fam.
dictating
Oh.
everything that I'm doing?
We there now, guys.
So the thing is that
describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I am dreaming.
so like if I look you like think your position is in one place, but then when you look down, in order to look down from that perspective, you would have to be shifted back. And that's the thing that feels weird to me.
Okay.
Is that like normally when you look down, there will be like a barrier, like it'll limit your view to here,
Right.
just so that you won't like look down and be like,
Gotcha.
wait, like there is this disconnect.
Okay.
So like this is how I feel of like how I feel like you don't have feet, because like in order to get this perspective, you would have to like
To make the magical stars just a moment ago. How else would the voice?
Because there's actually achieving that by showing you more than most video games would, or like giving you more freedom about learning language.
Yeah, I think like it would normally like stop here, so that like you'd be like, oh, like this is my feet now. I'm like not expecting to look past this,
Also, I feel like we have definitely gotten to the like, am I the butterfly dreaming about being a philosopher, or the philosopher dreaming about being a butterfly level here? That's where we're at now.
Fresh air of the world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please. It's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job.
It's about your wife,
All I want is my life exactly the way it's supposed to
Love
be.
that wife.
My life is normal. I am normal. Everything.
I feel like I think one of the CMS Power Hours, I think I should just show you a whole bunch of Flash games,
Okay.
of like the pretentious game style and things like that.
I'd be so down. I want to examine these pretentious game style games.
Just because like
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me
like
up.
this
My
musical
name is
cue.
Stanley.
Yes.
I have a boss. I have an office.
Have
I am real.
things to make. Oh jeez.
Tell me I'm real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice?
I mean, like I do like the parameters for being real are having a boss in an office.
This is the story of a woman named Marietta.
What? Is that my wife?
Marietta woke up on
That's amazing. Oh no.
Rose got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she was soon told to go call for ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew.
Everyone knows
Everyone knows what crazy
They look like their shoulders
And
literally
she
dislocated.
thought to herself how
Oh yeah,
it's
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better.
Nice.
Then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions...
Because, like, the thing I get about these Flash games, actually, I think because they are Flash games, a lot of people don't think of them as, like, you know, like, real art, right? And actually, I don't think I've seen... I also haven't looked for any, like, discussions about these Flash games online, but, like, I think a lot of them are older and also maybe doing more interesting stuff than this. But, or, like, maybe my impression of these are just totally colored by the fact of, like, I've seen so many, like, even more independent developers, like this guy, like, you know, just making things that are, like, dealing with the same themes and stuff like that. So I think I should have...
Yeah. Are there, like, some Flash games that, like, do some of the same, like, weird, like free will question situation?
And Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Oh, I know a safe space.
Oh! Lounge, let's go.
Let's go. That did the same meta level? Like, no, like, this is definitely, like, the most thorough...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered, but this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it.
It's definitely, like, the most thorough treatment, I think, of, like, meta stuff that I've seen. And, like, it's cool that in one game...
The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic. Like a combination of a much smaller version and a much larger version of this exact room. It all made Stanley uncomfortable, and he started to bleed a little. This made him smile. At last, proof that he was human.
Yay. From, like, what? From, like, his eyes? Or, like...
Yeah, so we don't know.
Like, seriously, man.
Yes. Really, really worth it being here in the room.
Oh, and it's repeated dialogue.
So utterly captivating.
But
even though all your...
Yeah, no, some of them do meta things. I guess, like, the one that's probably closest to this is, you find yourself in a room, which is, like, malevolent, IF game. It's very short, but it's, like...
Because that's fun.
Yeah. But, yeah. I think that's just what I feel like. I feel like, you know, I've played a lot of Flash games because they're, like, very short and, like, sort of only have, like, one idea that they're playing with.
And, like, I do like that about, like, some of the Flash games that I've played. They really are this sort of, like, you know, like, very, like, kind of concise argument type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think that, like, that's partially why, like, the Stanley Parable does feel a little sprawlsy to me. Like, and I feel like in some ways, like, that's a thing that feels kind of less so when, like, you do play it in the kind of order of, you know, kind of like most following the rules to least following the rules, because it's got this kind of sense of, like, you kind of go from, like, the kind of most obvious, like, metalepsis cases to, like, metaleptic weird shit, as it, like, goes, like, really thoroughly through, like, every possible interaction that you could have with a narrator in a game, or, like, every possible interaction your character could have with realizing they inhabit a fictional world, or things like that. But on the other hand, like, I definitely think, like, there are a lot of those pathways, and, like, some of them are interesting, and, like, some of them are a little, like...
I think that actually is something of, like, you know, the difference between, say, like, a short blog post versus, like, a full paper where you, like, cover all your cases.
Right.
Like,
or it's
that's
like
probably a better...
Or it's like a short story, like, versus a novel kind of situation, too. Like, I feel like, you know, like, it's like, there's something kind of neat and concise about just making one point, and it's, like, sometimes cool to, like, make a lot of points and even get to that kind of level of, like, I don't really know what point I'm making, I just want to explore this phenomenon.
Also, Phenomenology Bot says that the bleed is not a blood bleed, but, like, a narrative bleed because metalepsis, and that narrative bleed is what makes you feel.
Are people even using the term bleed about, like, LARPing and stuff at the time the Stanley Parable was written?
Well, you would know better. You would know better.
I don't know, though, so... Amazing.
No.
Yes.
Again, I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoyed doing so much in this room.
Oh, baby, oh, baby.
Take your time.
Wow. Thanks.
But, yeah, I mean, like, this also goes back to the question of, like, I still feel kind of weird about, like, you know, there's all of this informal stuff that I've read online. Like, some of it's good, you know, but it's, like, not peer-reviewed, so it doesn't become, you know, like, citable.
Right.
You know? Which is interesting, because I remember, Daniela was helping, like, people work through their presentations, and then she said this statement, like, you need to cite related works, because otherwise it doesn't appear scholarly. Like, you haven't done your research beforehand. Which I thought was really interesting. Because, like, in my blog posts, I definitely, like, reach out to other things. They're not all papers, and also, like, but, like, there's still hyperlinks and there's still citations, but it's, like...
Yeah, and I've definitely, like, when working in fields like game studies or, like, comic studies or whatever, I also, like, had academics say to me, like, you just sometimes gotta start citing, like, non-peer-reviewed things because that's the only research that exists about these things.
Yeah.
And, like, I guess it's just, like, you'd be a little bit more critical, but, like, sometimes, like, I feel like you gotta be pretty critical of, like, scholarly work and the reasons people are doing what they're doing, so...
That's cool that they say that, like, it's okay to...
Yeah.
Ooh, fancy wallpaper. Oh, great. It's the... Yeah, it's the thing where it's the Wi-Fi. So I think the batteries are probably fine. It seems like it's just sometimes the connection. Yes. No!
Unfortunate.
I want to take gold poops. No, but I think that's cool that your profs actually say that. It's totally okay.
Still have shitty 80s computers.
Or, you know, cite things that aren't, like, papers. But I mean, like, I think that's one thing I've realized is that I don't actually want a CMS degree because I don't want to go through all these classes and stuff again. But, like, what I do want is I want the time to be able to, like, cite papers and or like write papers and like do all the background research, which I think I can do once I like stop trying to put out fires in my day job all the time.
Yeah.
With the manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
There are a lot of indications of human life.
Unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this.
Well, I mean, there's like all these like things like scattered around. There's like a cigarette.
What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him.
Cognac.
And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Well, I don't, so. Yeah. Whoa. Little dot.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs.
Yeah.
Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know.
I wonder if I did the wrong combo.
Oh yeah, I'll see that one.
Two, 8, 4.
I like to say the same red as
in red, it's like.
Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. If it forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Oh, they give you the dot so that...
Yeah. But that's also interesting that, like, giving you a dot to, like, indicate, like, this is a place where you do have the option of clicking on things, as opposed to, like, the broom closet, which is kind of a thing you discover you can click.
It's also kind of cool that it's, like, directional, of, like, you realize, like, when you get close to it, that, like, it works.
Yeah.
What are these pictures?
It's
Factory,
amazing and
tie, and the...
bizarre.
Alright, well... Got some insulation,
It's got sound, which is exciting.
Oh, whoa, big emoji. Is that Jupiter? It's like an angry Jupiter.
What?
I don't know what's going on there. Alright, so we got railroaded into this plot now. There's the elevator to go down. There's a very dark area. Ha! I can use my tricks from antechamber to... Except I hit the wall, so...
Unlucky.
Well, now when I'm in a dark room and I have a light area,
yeah,
I know.
I'm totally gonna have a metaphor gun, you know. The only way to block friends. But no, Stanley had no friends because he was stupid and ugly.
I love freight elevators. Oh man, loading screen.
That's fine.
Bet there's a whole other area I've been in
As they
control.
got deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Oh really?
Hmm?
Just because Stanley's dead.
Oop. There's like something there.
Yeah, I see flashes occasionally. I don't know what I'm doing. Just kind of. Well, I'm just pressing forward. And
There ain't no light sources to use to navigate this dark room. Antechamber has failed us.
I'm just kind of holding forward
Okay.
and like moving my mouse occasionally, just so I change directions. Oh, I wonder if it's actually that my computer. Okay.
Nope.
I was wondering, like, maybe it's my computer acting
I
up.
really appreciate that we always have to evaluate, like, if there are, like, technical reasons that strange effects in games happening because we play games that are so trippy that it's unclear if, like...
Especially for antechamber.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
What large door? Oh, I guess straight ahead.
Probably this one. I'm just gonna tell you what it reads because we can't read it, I guess. Yeah. But I guess there is something to be said there about, like, the...
If light is on, call extension 914 immediately. Okay.
Solid.
Nice. Sorry, what were you saying?
But, like...
Oh, there we go.
Ah, yes. There's maybe something to be said for the fact that, like, there, you know, like...
Escape, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
This is definitely Portal vibes.
Yes. I like now that it's even more scientific vibes, like even more so.
Stanley still had every opportunity to
Yeah.
turn around and get back on track.
Yeah, but
At
like,
this point, Stanley
I guess
was making
part of why it
conscious
makes
concerted
sense
effort
to, like,
move forward.
confuse it for technical things that, like, it's like when a thing violates the expectations of what we have in a video game, like, it's either because someone actually made an expectation violating game or because something has technically gone wrong.
Oh, scary. Oh, maybe I'll actually die.
Guess us. Even more Portal vibes, even more Portal vibes.
Wait, I have
The
a
machine whirred into motion, and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise. It reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the big picture. He doesn't know the real story.
Oh, it's a giant crusher machine.
His narrow vision of what his life is. Perhaps his death would have been lost, like plugging the iron.
That's a metaphor.
Yike.
So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
I like the color.
In a single
Yes.
visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone
It's
in
am-
his body.
It's ambiguous if
killing
this is just
him
like a freeze
instantly.
frame or not, you know? I can still move around.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. Okay, now we have our invisible wall boxes. And scene.
Nice.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
His pronunciation of narrator is
Ooh, pretty.
Ooh.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless,
Ooh.
making life the same.
Ooh.
Do you see now?
3 edgy.
Do you
5
see that
big.
Stanley was already dead
Right.
from the moment he hit start?
Nature paintings.
Yeah, we
Are
saw
these
all
supposed
of
to be
these.
paintings? I like thought these were photographs. Like, another game with an art gallery in it.
Wow, maybe it's like we're playing artsy-fartsy games.
Wow. Do video
Obviously,
games just put art galleries in them to like make like is it all like commentary about video games not being high art, or you like, haha, we will subsume the high art in our video game medium and make you trashy too? Is that what's going on here?
I think it's literally we're just playing artsy-fartsy
Yeah.
games. I don't think Call of Duty has an art gallery.
Oh no! Wait, I want that though.
This blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. Path to the 2 doors. Sections have been altered throughout development. The core layout remains almost identical to the first. Okay.
This is, I guess, actually a little bit like an antechamber where you can like get to this like other kind of like outside of the game room, you like see the map and like,
Oh yeah, there's the 2 doors.
you know, like
Yeah. The pacing of this opening section is important to get right. The corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the players reach the 2 doors in good time. I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either.
2 doors. The set of 2 open doors was the very first concrete piece of Stanley Parable's design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of the contradiction this room posed. Okay, I believe that.
I would.
Is there something you can go through behind a painting wall? It doesn't look like it. It looks like there's some space, but... Yo!
Yeah.
We're playing Stanley Parable.
What is the Mount Erie?
I don't know, you're stuck that at some concert. Alright, doesn't look like you can go behind the painting walls. Look, it's our favorite asset, filing cabinets.
Amazing! They're literally open the same way.
Where'd you play?
Stanley Parable.
It's a BS game. That's the
Oh, it's this dude. Oh wait, no, it's a different dude.
The Office.
Yeah, the choose doors.
Yeah. Woo! Oh, you already got one?
Yeah, I just went to the hardware store.
Oh, okay.
If we like it, we can keep it. If we don't like it, I'll return it. Let it sounds. See how compatible it is.
Selection of the sounds. A mix of a keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. Wait. I don't think I'm supposed to press the same button. I guess it's a family of sounds.
Yeah.
Ooh, credits.
Ooh. I guess.
Oh, okay.
Solitaire.
I've got our Windows, we got our Solitaire, we got our employee
Database.
Okay.
I appreciate your voice, Kevin Britting. It's honestly like a very like Jigger's Guide sounding narrator voice. I think that's a lot of why I like this.
Of course, Kevin Nicolai. You know who Kevin Nicolai is,
No.
right? He makes literally all of the royalty-free music, so like stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I mean, I appreciate. Well, there's definitely something about like we think that our art is high art, and then so like we're taking the place of the donors, you know.
Right.
Or chapel. It's got a cruciform design.
Yeah.
Interesting. The Office. Early version of the maintenance screen.
I also like that it's like this is all like historical, right? Like it's all like it's partially creating as like a as if this whole thing has existed in the universe, but it's also like these things about like the game design process.
If someone could just get rid of the text, then maybe I could see what this game is.
Amazing.
Words, larger. Maybe the same image as the clock report. More endings, fewer endings. More Stanley, less Stanley. These are screenshots.
Ron.
We designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. Far too jokey and on the nose. As making fun of people who like shooters. See, I can't tell if this is like legit or
Like,
not.
I feel like that's just like what the Stanley Parable. I feel like they wouldn't decide not to do that though. Like, I feel like they would just make fun of people who like shooters.
The green light. Oh, these are the photos for the green light page.
Mm-hmm. Some quality paratext, to be honest.
Narrator emails. After the second trailer, we asked people to email the narrator for questions. We never found the perfect use for these. do you like?
I guess they did.
What is Stanley's last name? Do you like this? Do you like your? This is a pretty big museum.
Yeah, to be honest, this is like a nice museum.
The lounge. Oh, I like the current lounge.
Yeah, I
better.
agree. The blue is like why that room is so good that I would consider spending so much time in it.
Agreed.
Though I guess if the lounge were that one, it'd be like a shittier lounge. It would be like less justifiable to spend all the time there. Which like,
Not picking up the phone. Oh, so it did originally. Yeah.
well, this is to be believed.
I mean, I think the green light thing and stuff like
Yeah.
that is real. Yeah, this looks straight out of Portal.
Yeah, it
This
does.
actually looks straight out of Portal. Oh, okay. We should go back to the cargo lift and try to jump to a different path.
Yeah, we should.
Okay. I was thinking about that, but there was never really a... Oh, I'm getting lost in all of this concept art. I like these, the seat for the guard to sit at.
Yeah, especially if that's like also all abandoned.
Oh.
Like, because it's technically part of the sailing facility where all the people are gone.
Yeah. Flow of Hallways following the... Since the players will replay them so many times. Oh, I see. One option. To confusion ending, okay. Can't really read those up there. Meeting room. Projector. This is a big museum, it's like MFA levels.
For real, yeah.
Game is now paused. Escape menu? That only ended when the player restarted from the escape menu. Yeah, I did think that there was going to be some...
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised they didn't leave that in, but...
Like, probably completionist. Zending. This is straight out of Portal.
It's 100% straight out of Portal.
The player falling to their death, not the character falling to their death.
Yeah. Though to be fair, I think that's a pretty common thing that people say, like, you know, like just using the player to mean like the player character.
Zending. The narrator would describe what color lever they had pulled. Ooh, I'm a pass that right. That looks like plot.
Yeah. That seems like friggin' we're not in the MFA anymore, we're just in the ICA.
Countdown room.
Oh yeah. That is a pretty good room.
Countdown desk. Freeform ending. To remember what was up and what was down. Oh, that actually looks like plot. Okay.
To avoid the plot. Run.
I'm trying to go back to the main room, but I'm sort of lost.
Same though.
Game design mockup. Audition phase. different iterations of the room, it looks like, yeah.
Yeah. Like Antechamber's way of doing glass better, so that also works, I guess.
Salt.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay, cool. Because there was also, I wanted to check out the, you could go down here and check out the other side.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Wow, this sounds so much like in museum footprints, actually.
Yeah.
I really appreciate this sound.
Boss office. I definitely, man, they're trying too hard with this Portal aesthetic. I just really love the discontinuity between, you know, like, you know, the office and like the super plush, like I am a capitalist. It's really hard to tell what's plot and what's not. But seems like partially the point.
Stanley stood on
Recorded. Oh, jeez.
then he pushed it.
I like that museum feel of like, you know, the directional.
Yeah. I'm gonna go investigate those things that look kind of like plot before.
Freedom ending.
See how it's impossible to prepare to do anything.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Plot.
That's apparently an exit sign.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one
What kind of
another.
meta narrative?
How they both wish to be free.
This is dope. Well, I guess.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things.
This is a little too on the
A
nose.
little pretentious game. You think some of these things can't be seen because
You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now. Your only true choice. To choose it. Don't let time choose.
Nah.
yeah.
Or I can take. I enabled saves, but
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, great. We
Oh,
go.
you don't have time.
I mean, like, I guess, like, enabling saves. Oh, interesting. I mean, like, enabling saves is sort of like an interesting aspect because I actually had to go into the
Yeah.
menu. It was turn on achievements and turn on saves was what it was. And I haven't been getting any achievements other than the achievement for turning on achievements.
What is that? Is it just you turned on achievements? Good job.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, I didn't check it, but like, there's a whole bunch of these games I need to show
Yeah.
you about. Like,
Okay.
there's achievement unlocked, loved, which is more similar to this. Pretentious game, maybe like one of the games that Pretentious Games parodying, but
I
so
would
they specifically
totally
said
do that.
quit. So I'm gonna.
Oh.
Uh,
Actually quit.
okay, let's
Yeah, we indeed quit right there.
Spare not do some freaking Undertale crap.
Still have to play Undertale.
You still need to play Undertale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, let me just check that this stream is. Yeah.
What is CCM saying?
Doki Doki Literature Club. I'm not sure that this stream is picking up on
Oh no.
the game anymore.
I guess that's a kind of unknown affordance of the Stanley Parable and streaming. It's kind of fun.
Oh no, it's more just like when you get to Undertale, there's okay, so it doesn't look like it's working now. Okay. Begin the game, load game.
Yeah. We're gonna load from this particular save point.
Okay, begin the game. I mean, because we can load it.
Solid.
This is the story of a...
Oh yeah, okay. I probably accidentally clicked quit like a little too fast. Anyways,
Possible. Okay.
Don't let time.
I guess I did save right.
Ooh. I guess we saved at like the right point, yeah. Oh god. More papers go.
I don't want to go. Okay.
Do it.
So I did save at like exactly the right point.
Stanley knew the
Yeah.
others layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
Let me just double check real quick that this is working.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Oh my god.
Oh wow.
Oh my god.
Is this too spooky?
This is really spooky.
Oh, I got creepy music now.
No, this was always in there.
Was all in there? I guess.
Oh, it's interesting that this door is closed otherwise.
I'm very bad at paying attention to sound, except for not this week because it's been sound week in the film experience.
Yep.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I think we've fully explored
Yeah, I think we've pretty much.
right door.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's just the same as. I mean, like, I guess if we want to get real, like, narratology about this.
Oh, I forgot to do the jump to the other side.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'll do next time, I
Okay,
guess.
solid.
When to get really narratology about it is what.
Because you could, like, even if it doesn't have a mechanical effect, just go into the lounge, just for the story.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Amazing.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back
And
to the
reset.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I mean, since both paths can converge to this, it's not actually that
Right.
different. Yeah.
No, that's what I was saying about it being a one of those choices doesn't actually have mechanical effect, but you could do the story about Stanley going to the break room because he just loves the break room.
Not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who ought. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Oh no.
This is pretty good.
This is pretty good.
Oh, I lost a chat.
So, wow.
Feeling soothed,
Joke's on you, you don't have games. Okay.
Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Okay, here we go. Oh, so much setup for this goddamn thing. Anyways, alright, now let's do this mind control facility.
Alright, let's go.
Oh yeah, it is. I love that. Stanley was so impatient to get on with the plot.
Yup. I do it's I know if you've seen the Tumblr post or any of the many Tumblr posts discussing making games where characters react rude to you skipping dialogue, or games where if you click through the dialogue, the person eventually are you even listening to anything I'm saying?
I've only seen that in parody posts. I haven't seen that on Tumblr.
Yeah, okay.
Unanswered for
We're on different social medias.
I like only went on Tumblr for really like the fan art.
Yeah, I'm on Tumblr for the comics.
Yeah. Oh, I think I just like went the wrong
Stanley walked
direction.
straight ahead through the large door
Yeah.
that read Mind Control Facility.
Oh, the escape is pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I like that it like becomes obvious when you approach the mind control facility also.
Yeah. Oh. Again, the like. Is the game or is it my keyboard? Light bulb. Oh yes.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
I like that this is the most canonical ending.
Yeah.
Oh, look at all these cigarette
lot of
butts.
cigarette butts.
Because like this is the one that like if you were just to play the game straight.
Right. Yeah, and this is what I was saying about I think that like this is actually a really good one to get to first, though the game doesn't like. I mean, given that like people are snotty and like don't want to like follow the narrator's instructions, this is not like a super like likely thing to happen.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature
Oh.
revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers, the lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Wait, so then why was he freaking out when we went into this room in the first place?
I think because it was out of order in the story, right? Because he's like, you can't look at this is spoilers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I think it actually is kind of cool to run into this. Like that is actually a thing that I think makes the order work well.
Oh yeah, like yeah.
This mind-controlled facility, it was too horrible to believe it couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept him blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never.
Amazing.
It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Yeah, I feel like I really need to turn up the brightness in this room.
But here was the proof. The
Yeah.
heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking,
Calling
eating,
New Age.
working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
Oh, I do
As the
appreciate
cold
it.
reality
The
of
narrator
its
doesn't
past
backtrack to
began
actually
to
manipulate
sink
your
in.
emotions. I like
Stanley
that.
decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life, for he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
It's nice.
Pretty limited, maybe this is it. It already says soft line though. Oh, there we go. Oh, come on. Yep, nothing sketchy about that.
Just a fine red.
Like they all say they're offline. Like isn't it?
Yep. I'm trying to remember this.
I mean, I
Yeah.
assume when you go into the facility, you kind of.
Probably, yeah.
But like, I'm just confused why he's like, oh, we gotta shut this
Well,
down
could
when
be
we're
turned
off.
on, maybe.
Okay. Oh, come on. Should get really good batteries. Waiting input. Not do that.
I appreciate this is like a slightly more modern computer also.
When at
than, like,
last he
the
found the
old, like,
source of the room's power,
90s office
he knew it
computers.
was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do, for example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent. Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification...
Oh, didn't we just get railroads the ending of the narrator wanted?
Yep.
How long until detonation then?
We can wait 2 minutes.
Say,
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Alright.
Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it? It's your time to shine.
No, what I mean is like, so when this is the first ending that you do, if you get to it and that's the first time that you disobey the narrator, then like, it comes out, like at least the first time I played this, it came as a really badass moment when the narrator's like, no, this isn't about this plot,
Oh,
this
I
is
see.
about the story.
Me. Where we're going. What all this means.
Who's gonna chill?
We know where to start. You'd like to know where you're going? A lot of solids before you're obliterated. Alright.
Also more like meaningless countdown, you know.
I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine and set you free. That was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever.
You're right, because like here it's like very much established like the narrator is the one who came up with the story and then like that's where all it's coming from, which is like not the interpretation in other endings.
Or I let it burn to a crisp.
I mean, I just read this now as just like being very, very like megalomaniac, you know.
Right.
Watching you try to make
And like, cause also he's just narrating, like, and then even though he's trying to say like, Stanley took the left door, like,
Right.
he's not.
But like I think it's a good question of like, is it that the narrator like has never actually like this has never actually been like the story has never been the narrator's sole creation, but the narrator here is just being more megalomaniac about it and assuming that he has more power, like, or is it that it actually
put some extra time on the
changes
These are precious additions.
like it actually changes in particular endings whether the narrator is the one who came up with the story or if he's just narrating someone else's story or what, you know?
Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it on? I mean, look at you. Running from button to
Wow, accurate though.
clicking on every little thing in this
Except
room.
not.
These companies.
That's kind of funny. They could have like checked that one to see if that was the case, though.
Yeah.
Something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? One soul? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place
And there's nothing else in this room even to
Stanley.
click on
You're in
really.
for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every minute.
It's so rude.
See you made humble. This is no challenge. It's a treasure.
This is so too much.
This is like such a friggin' monologue.
This is too much.
That's 30 seconds you have left to strike. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. Knowing
I like this music also.
This is great.
You definitely like headcanon believe the narrator's just like I just turned on this dramatic music to make this more fun.
I mean, it's just like the calming new age music.
it's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, "Erupt."
Rip Stanley.
Well, the papers are done. I wonder if that just shows up randomly.
Yeah, or specifically after
All of his
the
co-workers were gone.
second narrator ending or what?
Yeah.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright, let's try to jump the
Yeah, let's do.
I think the timing on that's gonna be a little tricky. Cause I think I know it's there's a catwalk.
When Stanley came to
Yeah.
a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business,
I like the timing
Stanley
of that
took
one.
the first open door on his left.
Like, truly a
Yes.
room worth admiring, but eager to get back to.
That was pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Alright.
Okay.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? What? I don't know. Show you something beautiful.
Show me my wife.
Show your beautiful waifu.
That I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Danger everywhere.
That's like very Portal aesthetic also.
Do not stand on the side of the fence. What a helpful sign.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Remember Antechamber? With
Yeah.
the red and blue doors?
Yeah, wait, I wonder if the... I guess red and blue are like probably like
I still don't think we're communicating properly.
fair, like...
Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
This guy's voice is so salty.
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted.
Wow, this is how not to GM, guys.
What would have made this game better?
Do I get to fill out a survey?
See, vehicle.
Skill tree!
You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback.
Yeah.
There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were
Seal it.
before.
Seal it,
Come on,
right.
Stanley, take it for a spin.
Yeah. Office space, feeling like.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from?
I feel like the casting of the narrator as like a self-satisfied game developer is honestly pretty
In
hilarious.
your gut. I really couldn't say
I guess
where
it
it
was-
came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. To be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
The Stanley Parable leaderboard. This is
Wow, I feel like despite the fact they're like this is too on the nose and like I didn't want to just make fun of people who like shooters, I feel like this game is like a little bit brutal to gameists.
Oh, Stanley 427. It's not even the Steam name. Oh, last place. How long does it take you to get to the correct door? Friends list is empty. This is pretty good.
For quality.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through
It's like a
doors?
tool.
Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting.
Yeah,
You
IRL.
mind taking a look at it, would you?
This is pretty good.
Let me boot it up. The baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of life. I think the art world will really take note.
This is like definitely a pretentious game.
The game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for a few hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to
That's
make
the
sure
one.
it's effective. Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
It's spilling.
Literally, this is made for Lily. Duration, violence, you know?
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite
Spite
me?
you.
Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable.
So
hey,
self-satisfied.
since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain.
Do I get to play some Tetris?
What do we have here?
Oh my god, I wish.
Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Yes!
Well, Stanley, is this any better?
Ye-
At last, the one
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
you've always desired.
Then I won't
A game
just
I have absolutely nothing to do with.
Please don't.
But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley.
I'm stuck.
Will it ever be?
Oh no, you're not
I'll
Joe.
say this.
Can't jump.
I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only...
Is it just the controls of the Stanley Parable?
Yeah.
Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here, no, here, and then...
I like how this is just a very direct attack.
Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley.
To be fair, your first day in Minecraft is you just like make yourself a hole and then hide yourself in it so that the
That's
monsters
my
can't.
everyday in real life.
But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten... Step inside.
It's funny because this is like actually what you do in Minecraft though.
Yeah. So it's funny that he just has like control of doors. Like there's just a thing about like you have to make it doors so you can have control of doors. You're not inside.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better.
Diamond everything.
That's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond.
This is
everything.
much personal
Yes,
attack
yes.
into
Come on,
Minecraft.
Stanley. We
Yo.
have to go mining.
Why is the door physics just so hard to...
Well, because the doors don't have any respect for human life. Yeah. I do kind of appreciate making these zero choice versions of other games. Like that Minecraft is like so much about having like ultimate creative freedom.
That's also really true. And like I can't go back up because I don't have jumping abilities.
Yeah. Yeah, right, because it's also interesting, like, you're actually limited by,
Looks
like,
it's going to get a bit dark.
your affordances
For
of
a
how you
night.
can move.
I didn't think about this about like the sandbox versus not aspect. Which is cool. Am I gonna find a creeper?
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more
Yep.
narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This would do it all, 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one.
Like, I feel like this is definitely, like much more than when I first played the Stanley Parable. I feel like this is actually just all commentary on, like, game design and railroading and, like, that sort of thing. Like, as much as it's, like, actually really philosophical stuff.
Yes!
This is Portal.
I don't even know what this game is, but
This is Portal.
I feel like I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. Is in fact, like, literally just commentary on the fact that this game just is Portal.
This is literally Portal.
What's the game even
Yep.
supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Oh, now it's Portal mechanics now.
Oh, nice.
I think I'm supposed to put it in the toilet. Is that? Oh, it's been a while. Play Portal.
I never actually played Portal in a reasonable, straightforward way. I have only actually like played random levels of Portal
Oh, they can't jump.
because it's one of those situations where like you and your friends have one copy of a game and you just like. schoolers and go over to their house and play random levels.
That's fair.
Of wherever they're at. So.
But this is literally Portal.
Yep.
God dang it. Okay.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
Although I'm missing the portal gun, which is what allows you to pick up stuff.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games.
Oh, because that's the elevator takes you up to where the portal gun is.
Work in progress.
Work in progress.
Filing cabinets.
I do like the kind of aesthetics of something that's halfway between like a half-built room and a half-designed digital space.
Except the game, if it's half developed, would not look like that.
Right, like that's what I like. What I'm saying about like it's funny that because there's so many jokes about game design and stuff, but they're also like not actually constructing a space that like a half-developed game would look like.
Yeah.
Like there are actually textures on things. The textures are just like
Blank.
well,
yeah.
we have no texture.
Yeah. Stab face.
Oh.
I can't really. I do wonder if I should like have changed some settings to make it brighter.
Less.
Because I feel like some of my difficulty is like. Is like going through.
Just gotta use your anti-chamber abilities.
Like I can't even tell. Maybe I'm going like backwards. I can't even really.
Yeah, I think we're going forward.
Oh yeah, there's a. Oh no, I want that. Oh, it's so hard to tell what's going on. Right, like here's this door.
Yep.
So it's not spin around this time.
Yep.
Why is the door so hard to go?
Well, clearly you're thinking of portals.
Yeah, I can't tell. I mean, it could also just be like, oh, I've left you here to.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what's going on here.
Okay. Well, okay. Should I just restart out of this, I guess?
Sure.
I'm not sure if there's any.
I'd be down.
Okay.
This is also like coming up on 2 hours, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're at 2 hours. I guess, what are the other endings I want to do? I want to turn off the mind control machine.
I think that's what's probably worth doing. It's probably like the like.
Yes,
I mean, it's the like perfectly rule following Stanley Parable ending. Also, honestly, a pretty good place to end a stream of the Stanley Parable.
Because I think there was another one. Oh, there's also Go Through the Red Door.
Oh yeah.
I think okay. Let's end the stream doing the most rule following.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna hurriedly do the Red Door.
Yeah, let's do it.
And Stanley knew it perfectly well.
But yeah, I feel pretty good. I feel like I've played most of Stanley Parable after this.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know. Like I definitely want to play Antechamber again.
I agree.
I'm like, I want to play Antechamber again. Play more of the Witness as well.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
I want to see the Witness.
Yeah. We can do that next stream, or we can do the Flash games.
I'd be totally down for Flash games and the Witness after that. I think that's what I'm excited about, though, if other people are excited about other things.
Yeah, let us know. I'll ask Discord again.
Yeah. I actually been thinking a lot about this whole, like, games that, like, technically let you explore them in any order, but are definitely better in particular orders. Like kind of like, I feel like the Stanley Parable has, like, a much better narrative if you kind of do it from, like, most rule following to least rule following, because, like the character arcs of, like, the narrator and stuff work out better. And it's, like, kind of similar, I guess, how in, like, an Antechamber, like, you can just explore a lot of the game without having the central mechanic, apparently, of the game.
But, I mean, like, it's like 100 million,
but, like,
I think it's, like, more like 100 million sonnets, where, like, you totally can,
what's 100 million sonnets?
The Kino thing.
God, you are willing to listen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think, well, I think I have a solution.
Bring it out in circles.
Let me show you.
It's the 100 million Sonic things where like you flip the lines to make the. Don't you remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where it's like you always have an impression of what the first one is going to be, and that's going to color your impression of like how it's designed.
Yeah. Because I think it's like, it is really tricky to actually write a game which is like perfectly non-linear in the sense that like all endings are created equal, including like if you've seen other endings before. Because that's like so many different possible experiences to optimize for.
Yeah, and I mean like you always have just like one conception in mind.
Right. Because like, I feel like people, like, I don't know, like, I as a writer definitely am still very much figuring out, like, how to actually properly write non-linear stories, because the trouble is, like, you do actually, like, however multi-sequential you make a thing, like, you do want it to come out as good linear stories, and you've got your...
Where are you going?
Like, linear storytelling and understanding. Oh my god, this music is a lot.
Oh, I can't jump. Okay, that's... okay. Interesting, yeah.
Oh no! Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
So that was this ending, I think.
I think that's, yeah, I agree with that.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Oh, this is literally a suicide?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's so much.
Please, Stanley, think. No! Oh, thank God. You lived. No.
Wait.
No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please,
I also like that
asking
it's
you not
the
to take
it's
this
suicide
away
is,
from me.
is
I
taking
can't go
away
back to
from
what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
it's taking away from him, but not you.
Yeah. Wow. Narrator. What a selfish person, to be honest.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me? Yes, perhaps you can.
My god.
You finally see what I'm talking
Gotten a
I
whole
know,
lot.
see, you're saying that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
There's so much.
What happens if you just restart from here? I'm curious. Really, like, yeah.
No, perhaps not.
I don't think there's too many like restart.
Yeah. That would be cool. I feel like
My God.
that would get this game.
Is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy.
Like this is so manipulative. Whee.
Maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore.
I gotta say, this
Just
guy.
wanted us to get
This
a
guy's narrator voice is honestly like one of the best parts of this game. Like he's just so good at like sounding like an impartial narrator while also having like such a range of stupid emotions.
Yeah.
Is it over? It's going to restart. I'm going back.
Oh yeah, I guess.
I guess it is just random.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where
I-
everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
Yeah, I think overall not super a fan of this game. I would say.
When Stanley came
Antechamber was a whole lot cooler than I
he
expected.
entered the door and
I agree with that one.
Yeah.
I like still have a lot of nostalgic respect for the Stanley Parable. And it's like one of those things where I'm like, this isn't actually that subtle, and like I'm not sure this actually works very well in most directions you can play it, but like I'm like glad someone made it, I guess. Like
One thing interesting is coming, regardless of whether we went left or right, we still entering from this door and not like that one. Do you see what I mean? Because it's the same whiteboard
Yeah.
perspective. I didn't realize that.
I also think this game like was actually like very emotionally effective for me at some point in time. Like when I first played this, like I like legitimately got like pretty creeped out by a lot of the endings and like, you know, like had some like I think like good bleedsy experiences of like, you know, like your various relationships with the narrator. And like I appreciated that.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah blah blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh hey, look, it's a new passageway. Kill surprise.
Oh, he didn't even.
Yep.
Yeah. It's also interesting because like the obey route is now like let's speed on and get on with the
right. Yeah.
like the speed runner.
I think that's one of like what I'm saying. One of the things I like character development wise, like for the narrator is like that initially like he's got so much more commitment than you have to like doing things the proper way. But eventually he gets fed up with stuff too. Like
yeah. Yeah, if I just turn a little bit, then I get really lost.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I also do find it kind of interesting that like despite the fact that so much of this game is about the kind of like relationship of the player with Stanley and all that, and like there are times when it seems like the narrator is talking directly to the player. It is true there are a lot of Stanley's actions actually make a lot more sense if you think of Stanley as having a player behind him and the narrator like doesn't understand that, right? Like when you're like, when the narrator's like, why would you spend so much time in this broom closet? Like that's not fun for you. He is acting like Stanley is like just a normal human being, whereas like, you know, like I don't think you would be confused that a player wants to spend all their time in a broom closet, like...
No, but I mean, also, part of it is also just, like, you know, like, I think one thing that I'm realizing is that, like, part of the effort of streaming is that the game experiences are very much designed for one player. So, for example, like, Bastion, like, I want to talk to people about, like, my experiences playing this, but it's really hard to talk over the narrator because it's so good. And it's actually, like, a really frequent interruption. So, like, because I can like talk to you and like hang out, it's like a lot less bad of like the experience of sitting in a
That's
closet.
true.
Or like waiting for the like 2-minute timer to turn off, you know?
Yeah. Though I think on the other hand, like, there's probably a lot of stuff that actually does work more emotionally effectively if it's just you and not like you kind of half paying attention to this on a couch with someone else. Like, I think maybe that's partially why this was so much more of like an emotional experience the first time I played this, is because like it is a different game when you're like alone in your room, like.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, it's like things like that, which is why, like, we were talking about, like, why are games, like, they're, like, still under copyright, but, like, they're less unhappy about people doing streams and stuff like that. It's, like, exactly this, is that the act of playing is quite different.
Right.
He truly spent his entire life.
Yeah. And I think that, like, there's actually a thing of, like, I think for me, like, the interactivity of the Stanley Parable is pretty important. Like, I think also partially because in general, I feel like I'm pretty willing when I'm playing games to, like,
But here was the proof.
put a lot of effort into, or like to be like, I'm gonna just like be in this character and feel the things they're feeling, because I like Twine games.
Working, all of it.
Like that's kind of what I meant about like the sort of like, you know, like making choices just for the narrative or something. Like I think if you kind of play the Stanley Parable in that kind of mindset, where you're like, I'm gonna really like get emotionally invested in Stanley and like make choices for the narrative of what Stanley is doing rather than like just do it to explore things. Like I think then like the sort of constant like sort of moments when the player and Stanley's goals are aligned and moments when the player and Stanley's goals aren't aligned, like moments when you are being treated as the same person, moments when you aren't actually work out in a kind of cool way.
I mean, like, I guess just, like, even hearing about this game as, like, look at this weird, like, snarky narrator meta thing, which is, like, the only thing that I knew about this game.
Yeah.
I was never going to approach this game as, I want to empathize with Stanley.
Yeah.
I was only going to approach this as, like, I'm going to, like, see how many ways I can break this game.
Right. Which I think, like, it also is good for, like, I feel like it'll play with you a lot on the, like, well, I want to see if I can break this game, you know? Like, and I think that, like, I appreciate a lot of the metaleptic weird shit is sort of saying, like, fine, like, you want to get all, like, weird shit on where can I push the boundaries of this, like, well, I'm also going to get all weird shit in terms of what I thought of beforehand, like.
Alright.
Okay, we going?
Yep.
And a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
Oh, is this freedom ending?
And yet,
Yeah.
even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machines? What other mysteries did this strange broken world? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power.
Wow, what an ending to end on.
Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer
What an ending to end on.
That's why I was saying we should end here, man.
whatever life he lived.
I feel like there's more emotional impact though if you do this ending for last rather than first, because otherwise you're just like, I don't really get what was so.
I think that it works well either way, because if you do this first, you kind of get here and you're like, I'm like a little bit dissatisfied with this. Like, this is not the game people told me this game was going to be. Also, I feel like minorly weird about the fact that, like, I'm still listening to the narrator even though, like, I'm technically free and stuff. And also, why don't I have answers for where my coworkers are? Like, maybe I do care about
I
that.
feel like I'm gonna like get zapped as soon as I walk out there.
Stanley felt the cool breeze
Oh,
on his
and then you lose control.
feeling of liberation.
Oh, I can't even control the.
Immense
Yep.
possibility of the new path before him.
Right, like, so that's also,
This
like, what
was
this makes me
exactly
like,
the way,
I want to play this again.
right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
But the end is never the end is never the end.
Yeah. Right, like, I think that text actually works better also when you find this. It's like the...
Yeah. I got an achievement.
Nice. Is that the only achievement you can get in this game? It's like...
I'm curious if we walk out, is it the same dialogue?
All of his co-workers were
Yep.
gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looked at him.
Alright, like, so it kind of starts with that question that it hasn't answered, so, you know,
Perhaps
like...
he simply missed a memo.
I don't think I've seen this ending before. This ending is literally if you just follow everything that the narrator says. It's just sort of funny. Oh, okay. Yep, that was a good stream. Thanks everybody for watching. Yeah, I'll ask on the Discord whether people want to see Flash Game Bonanza or like more Witness, more Antechamber, and like if you can get your act together and
Okay.
get some clips,
We'll do it.
we can talk about other media.
Yeah. Still LA Orchestra it up.
Or like lots of other stuff,
Yeah.
like, you know. But yeah, thanks for watching. And I'm going to end this. Let's see. Quit. Let's get back to the desktop.
Wait.